Hey guys, this is Courtney Shaw, and this video and also podcast episode is a part of the 5K Blitz series that I'm doing. It's actually the last in a 5-day series of episodes. This is the only one that I've decided to add a video with because I had some visuals in mind, and we're going to talk about the actual plan, the 30-day plan for you to generate $2,000 to $5,000 in the next 30 days if you need a cash injection in your business. This just starts to get a bit visual here, but if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, which are on the Yay for Business podcast, please go back at some point. You don't have to do it right now, but there's going to be things that you might have objections to here and questions about, and those are things that I've addressed in the previous episodes. So make sure to go back and listen to those because they're going to do a lot of that explaining and heavy lifting for you. But I know this is going to be the one that most people are drawn towards because it's where we're talking about where is this cash money coming from? Okay. And that's why I wanted to create a visual here. Okay. So if you've made it this far in this series with me, you've probably already had a few shifts. I've already, because I'm recording this one after, I recorded the 4 previous episodes in one sitting. And this one I'm recording a week later, if not longer, about a week later. And I've already gotten several messages from people being like, yep, this is what I need. Yep. And I think there was just like this permission to you all to follow the money, to just be like, you know what, I just need to do what's going to make money. And so I'm really happy to hear that because I had the feeling it would be a permission slip that you like, not that you can never do the thing that you like really want to do, but that this is actually the way to get there. Okay. So what I'm about to share with you, I think is more the easy part. The strategy is always the easy part if the mindset is in alignment with it. The problem is when you want a goal to make 2 to 5K, this month in the next 30 days, and I just create this video, and then your mindset, you have all these questions and objections that are going to prevent you from actually implementing this strategy and going full on, because this is one of those things that requires like a bit of balls to the wall, like just fucking go. Like that's what we're going to talk about. I love that kind of stuff. My ADHD, hyperfocus, quick start brain loves this kind of stuff. And so that's really the energy I want you to harness here. This is not a strategy that you're going to do every single month. This is a strategy that is going to blow the dam open and like let the current come through in the stream, right? This is what we're going to do to get a bunch of momentum really quickly, so that you have cash, which is the oxygen of your business, or else your business is dying every month and you have to resuscitate it. And that is no fun. Okay. So what I'm going to show you first is, these are the real visuals, is like, this is the model that we're talking about here. Is we're talking about a model. I teach this in everything I do. That's not different about this strategy. What's different is the psychology of the offers itself. Okay. So what we're talking about is a mini offer and a bigger offer. I'm going to refer to it a lot as like the bigger offer because I don't want you to get bogged down by thinking, oh, I've got to create a signature service. Like that to me is, you don't need to create your whole signature service right now. It's just on here because that's like typical. This is like the typical graphic I use here for 6-figure sprint and Yay for clients. Like this is what people see. So we're doing the same thing. I want you to have a mini offer and a bigger offer. And I want to show you the math behind that first to get to that 2 to 5K. I realize this slide that's in front of me, if you're watching the video, this is 1K math. Some people might just want to get to 1K, and that's fine. So I just want to show you this range of math. So I'm going to keep saying 2 to 5K, but I'm also going to show you that 1K math because like for some people, like 1K is going to be the entry point, and it's the same strategy. All right. So what we're going to have is, if we have a mini service and a bigger service, to get to 1K, we're going to have, maybe we have a mini service that's $100 and we get 5 people in that. So that's $500 total. And then we get 1 person in a bigger service at $500. This is an excellent starting point for someone who is starting from scratch. I don't typically gear what I teach towards people who are starting from scratch, but I do have people that follow me and learn from me who are kind of starting from scratch. And I want to give you permission to do this first because you can very quickly grow into the next version. And if you've been trying to do the next version, the 2K version for a while and it's not working, I want to give you permission to try the 1K version because it will give you momentum into the 2K version. Okay. So that's what this would look like. If you wanted to generate $2,000 in the next 30 days, what that's going to look like is you'll have a mini offer. Let's say it's the same kind of general thing. We're going to have 5 in our mini offer, and one of those people is going to go up to our signature offer, but we've doubled the prices. Now, you don't have to double the prices. You could have a few more people in each, but I just want to show, like, those are the like levers that you have to play with. Like, you can either get more people or raise the price or a little bit of both. You could have taken the price to $150 for the mini offer or $750 for the signature offer. That's totally fine. I'm just trying to keep simple math here. So I went from $100 mini service and a $500 bigger service to a $200 mini service and a $1,000 bigger service. It just really depends on you, your business, what pricing you're comfortable at. And that's going to have to do with like what we can identify as like a no-brainer for people to buy from you. So we want to start wherever you truly are, because we need to generate this cash. This is not about building your dream offer. This is about creating rapidly something that's going to generate money that can then eventually walk towards becoming your dream offer. Now, let's take this $2,000 version and turn it into a $5,000 version. In order to do that, we're going to basically, what I did was I kept the $200 price on the mini service. I just have 10 people going to that now instead of 5. So we need a bit more volume, okay, at $200. And then if we then have a signature service that's $1,500, which is very reasonable. By the way, these are very reasonable, bigger service prices. When people actually get into what I would call signature services, I want to see them closer to $2,000 or more, okay? So I think at $500 to $750 is a great starting point, especially for people who are like really needing to gain some confidence and get some momentum and get some quick wins. But you really should be at $1,000 to $1,500 pretty quickly. But I want you to start wherever you know that you're at right now. Okay, so that's the math of the sales of the $2,000 to $5,000. Now, let's talk about the math that's going to lead to these sales. I like to reverse engineer things. That's what I teach. I have a whole workshop on reverse engineering your first 100K year. So we're going to reverse engineer this the same kind of way. And we're going to do this based on conversations, because to get people into this, you're going to have some conversations. Now, I'm talking about conversations and not like email marketing and like conversions in that sense and applications, if you're familiar with my teachings, because when we're talking about getting cash fast, we want to do the things that are going to get cash fast. So here's the question I have for everybody. And I think I might have shared this in one of the previous 5K Blitz episodes, but if I didn't, I'm going to share it right now. Gun to your head. I know this is very severe. Okay. Gun to your head. You have to make 5K this week. What do? You have to book, or I put it this way, you have to book 3 clients this week. What do you do? Now, in 10 out of 10 times that I ask this question to my clients, because every time someone's like, I need clients, I don't have clients, I need clients, I go, gun to your head, you have to book a client tomorrow. What do you do? So some variation of extreme forced constraints to be like, well, the most obvious thing is I'm going to one-on-one outreach to everyone I know and give them an offer. So then I always ask, then why aren't you doing that? And the reason why you're not doing that is the same reason I'm not doing it, is because we haven't put those constraints on it. This is what the program I have, the 5K Blitz, is all about, is like, we're going to put some constraints on this. It's like, gun to your head. You need to get the clients. Yeah, you might, if you have an audience, you're going to send emails. If you have an audience on social, you're going to do some social content, and that's great. And absolutely do that. But gun to your head, you need to book the clients. The first thing you're going to do is any kind of one-on-one outreach. And so we're going to focus on one-on-one outreach, and we can always add those other pieces, but the one-on-one is the most important thing. This is going to be labor intensive. You need cash. Your business needs to be resuscitated. So if you're not willing to, I realize you might be burnt out of the feast and famine cycle, but like, that's just what we have to do. We have to stop, and we've got to do what we need to do to make the money, which is my motto that I've got now, which is stop, eat shit, and follow the money. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second. Eat shit and follow the money. All right, so let's talk about these conversations. Let's talk about conversation math. So there's only like 2 conversation beats that I want you to know about. All right, so I want you to imagine that over the next 30 days, you have 100 non-sales conversations with ideal clients. So what I mean by that is exactly what it sounds like. I want you to just have conversations with people who are in your target audience, hopefully on the topic that you talk about, but not like, hey, and it's not like a pitch. It's just, I'm having conversations with people. I know that I can reach out and touch 100 people in some capacity who are in some capacity in my target audience. Because the issue we always run into, even with my 6-figure sprint clients, people who are like, there was someone I was talking to the other day who was like, I'm not getting bookings for my free mini service. And you don't have to know what I'm talking about here. This is like a different level. You might know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. That's not the lesson to take away. I'm not getting bookings for my free mini service. And I'm like, okay, well, let's problem solve that. So we're looking at, well, how did you create the free mini service that you're creating? What was your market research data? Well, I didn't have anyone fill out my market research survey. So then my thing is like, well, why are we even doing a free mini service if we haven't had anyone fill out our market research survey? And then to come to find out that the market research survey only went to people on her email list who had just subscribed. So they were only new subscribers. So those people are the least nurtured to fill out your survey, your market research, right? But then it was like, well, okay, I want you to send that to your whole list. And what she realized is, well, I have 600 subscribers, but a lot of them are not the right market. And I'm like, right. So here's the problem is you can have 600 people on your email list, but if they're not people who are in your target market, you can't reach out and touch 100 people in your target market, then your first thing you need to do is figure out how to reach out and touch 100 people in your target market. And this is what I teach in the DM workshop, how to get clients from DMs. It's all about how to have conversations, proactive conversations with people that isn't about selling them, but is about getting people in your sphere aware of you at some degree, whether they're just meeting you or they're getting nurtured by you, or they are ready to work with you in some capacity when you lay down an offer, but that you can nurture those conversations with. Otherwise, you're just a stalled car and there's no gas. And the whole goal of this 5K Blitz is to put gasoline back in the tank. But we can't put gasoline back in the tank if there ain't no gas to put in the, like, we have to have access to gas somewhere, right? And that is human beings. Human beings have to become your sales. And if human beings have to become your sales, then we need to be able to contact human beings. And if we can't do that, we are fucking stalled before we start and nothing else matters, okay? So the first thing is 100 non-sales conversations. That's all stuff I teach in the DM workshop. The second piece is 20 mini offer pitches. So you're going to have 100 non-sales conversations, okay, over 30 days. And then in a specific I'm going to show you in a second what this looks like. You're going to have 20 mini offer pitches. You're going to identify 20 people who are the right people to pitch that to. And then you need to know how to actually do that in a way that's not annoying and sleazy and like crazy people, cold DMs. Again, a lot of that I teach in the DM workshop, but it's also going to be in the 5K Blitz program if that's something that you want to do with me. And then that should lead to 5 to 10 mini service clients, which should lead to 1 to 2 bigger service clients or more, depending on your level of experience, how nailed down you are on this, all of that. Like, I'm trying to be conservative here. This could be better than this, but this to me is a conservative estimate. So here's what that might look like. Okay. So for those of you who can't see the visual, we're looking at a sort of a map of, I said 30 days. It's actually 28 because we've got 4 weeks, right? So 4 times 7, 28. And what we have here is Monday through Friday. I have it for all 4 weeks that you have 5 conversations. So those are 5 non-sales conversations. You need to have a way of reaching out to, in a non-sleazy, non-weird way, naturally, organically, to have 5 conversations, start 5 conversations a day with people in your target market. And if you don't know how to do that, that's the problem. Okay. Then what I have on here is the only other thing on here is that Tuesday through Friday in week 2 is you're going to do 5 pitches a day. So each day you're going to identify 5 people that you could pitch your mini offer to. And that is it. That is it. That is the sales mechanism. Now, if you have an email list and social media and all that, which a lot of you do watching this, but a lot of my people don't. So I always have to cater to people who don't. And then we just add that as a bonus. Okay. If you have that, absolutely do some email marketing, do some social media on this, right? But you should also still be doing this. Don't think that because you've got 1,000 people on an email list, you get to skip this part. Don't think that, because a lot of you all with 1,000 people on your email list, they're cold. You don't know how to nurture them with content that's getting them closer to the sale. And so you're taking that for granted. And it's actually handicap now because you think you have this audience and actually it's not going to lead to anything because you haven't built this ecosystem that's actually going to make that work. We're talking about a cash injection. If you want the money, if you're dedicated to making the money and getting out of this feast and famine cycle for good, then you got to be willing to do this work. I'm not saying you need to be willing to do endless work. I am saying you need to be willing to stop whatever you're doing that's not working and do this for 30 days, get the cash coming in, then we transition that into the next step. Okay. We're not doing a side project here. We're doing life support. We're doing, I wrote on the sales page for the 5K Blitz, it's like the Heimlich maneuver. If you're choking and someone comes to give you the Heimlich maneuver and you're like, no, that wasn't my plan today. That's insane, right? Then you're going to die. Okay. So we need to do the Heimlich maneuver. We need to get the oxygen flow coming back. That's cash. Without cash, your business is dead. And that's essentially what's happening to everyone's businesses every month is we call it feast and famine cycle, but it's really like you're like flatlining every month. And then we're having to freak out and jolt you back to life. Let's get you living again. So now you can build a life and stop dying every month. Okay. So the problem is your current offers are just not selling for whatever reason right now, okay? We're not here to identify that reason right now. That's great. We need to do that eventually. But right now, what we're doing is we're figuring out what is going to sell and we're going to make that and offer it because we need to make money. I am giving you permission to do this. I'm giving you permission to let go of the sunk cost fallacy and the attachment to everything you've built. Not saying you're getting rid of it or burning it down. What I'm saying is I'm giving you permission to stop and resuscitate your business, to follow the money, which means do the thing that people are willing to pay for. Okay, which is what I'm going to teach everyone to do inside of the 5K Blitz is how to identify what is the thing that people are already willing to pay for. You're making it too complicated. What is that thing? And then it's always going to be something you don't want to do. Every single time, 10 out of 10, it's going to be the thing you're like, I don't want to do that. That's not the thing. That's not what they need. I don't fucking care. You need to eat the shit. That's what they're willing to pay for. Make the money and then talk to me on the other side because what I'm willing to lay down my life and bet is that on the other side of doing the thing, eating the shit, the thing that people are willing to pay you for, you're actually going to realize, oh, that was it all along. That was the thing I should have been doing. That's the key into the door that lets me do the thing that I actually want to do. And I know this because I experienced it firsthand when I was trying to do website copy and everyone was asking me for help with their sales pages. And I was like, I don't want to do sales pages. Oh, that's so stressful. I want to do personality infused website copy. And finally I was like, I give up. I'm so sick of resuscitating this every single month. I can't get past $2,000 a month. So I just threw my hands in the air. And I was like, I've got nothing to lose. I'm willing to just try it. I'll try it for 30 days. I'll try it for 30 days. What the hell? If it doesn't work, I'm no worse off than I am right now. I'm asking you to just do this for 30 days. Follow this for 30 days. If not, you're no worse off than you are right now. Okay. So yes, you're going to have those conversations ongoing. The DMs, yes, but just conversation. They could be DMs. The DM workshop is where I'll teach you specifically with DMs, but they don't have to be DMs. They could be emails. They could be calls, whatever. There might be people that you have, access to in other ways. Okay. But you're going to do that ongoing, but also during that 30 days, here's what it's going to look like. Week 1 is all about create the offers that are eating shit, that are following the money. Okay. The mini offer and the bigger offer. All right. That's week 1. That's created and it's ready to go. Okay. Now, for those of you who are interested in working with me in this first round, this live round, this inaugural round of the 5K Blitz, I'm going to personally review all of your offers that week 1, because that is it right there. That is the do not pass go place right there where I can identify real quickly what's going to work and what's not. I can see it from a mile away. And so I want to do that because I want this to work and I want to identify the patterns in a way that I don't have to review everyone's offers in the future forevermore, but I want to review yours. Okay. So if you decide to join me in the 5K Blitz, that's available for this inaugural round only. Make sure to get on the wait list. That link will be in the show notes or the description for wherever you're listening to this or blog post or whatever, to get on the wait list so you can get in for this live round. The second week, selling. So what's going to happen the second week, and I changed my slides here, is that we're actually, I'll get to it. I'm getting ahead of myself. What you need to do, whether you work with me or not, is you need to pitch. Just like I showed you on this slide over here is like five convos, five pitches, five pitches, five pitches, five pitches. You need to pitch 20 people. But in order to pitch 20 people, you need to have enough warm people to pitch so that that will go anywhere. We're not just spamming random strangers. These need to be people who are in a relatively warm audience for you. So we need to get people in a warm audience in order to have the ability to pitch. And then week 3, we're going to talk about delivering the offers. And then week 4, we're going to talk about upselling people into the bigger offer. This is where that money is going to work. It's probably the most of your money is going to come towards the end, right? But we have to do the legwork in the beginning to get there. So the creation phase is where we're identifying what is the thing people already want to buy, the shit you don't want to do that you're going to do because you're ready to just let go of your pride and just do it. It's always going to be done for you, by the way. 9 times out of 10, maybe 10 times out of 10, it's going to be something done for you. That's what people are willing to pay for. I don't want someone, I've had so many VAs, and it used to drive me nuts is every VA at some point gets to a point where they're like, I don't want to do the work anymore. I want to be a strategist. I'm like, I don't need a fucking strategist. I'm a strategist. I need someone to do this work. That's so annoying to me because I want the done for you, right? Like this is true. Like people don't want you to strategize with them. And I'm not saying that there's no value in that. I think there's really high value in that. But what people are willing to pay for is the grunt work, the done for you. Okay. But we're not talking about custom solutions and writing proposals. No. That is not allowed here. So we're going to create a mini offer and a bigger offer with very specific specifications and decide those price points. Just like I showed you on the numbers earlier. I want you to have at least 10 or more non-sales conversations on this visual. I showed you 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It has you doing 25. Okay. So the more, the better. I might even do a giveaway for people to see who has the most conversations and incentivize people, because I think we need to celebrate having these conversations with people in our target market. Okay. Then in week 2, we're going to pitch those offers. Okay. So you're going to have 25 more non-sales conversations. You're going to identify as many people as you can reach out to pitch. 20 is ideal. And you're going to pitch those people. It could be to your audience. You could have an email list pitch. You could do one-on-one, probably a bit of both. If you have both, definitely one-on-one. Okay. Then we're going to talk about delivering the offer in a way that is really impressive, because this mini offer, listen, it can't just be like, okay, I delivered the thing. Now do they want to hire me more? We have to deliver in a way that makes them want to continue working with you, that it creates an open loop that their brain needs to close, but it's also like over delivering and wowing their socks off by the way you delivered it without doing it in a way that is taking up too much time and energy from you. There's a lot of constraints on that. We're trying to check a lot of boxes. This is what I'm great at. I love constraints. I love a puzzle. This is my favorite thing to do. And so then you're able to then upsell people into the bigger package. It's a no-brainer, and you're getting at least one person in there, if not 2, if not 3. That'd be great. Obviously, that's the dream. But that's what we're trying. We need to get that cash injection. And then we start thinking about what the next step, the next sustainable version of this offer looks like after you're finished with your 5K Blitz. Okay. So the 5K Blitz is the program where I'm going to help you do this. This is the container where I'm going to support you to do this in a very, very focused, condensed, action taking way. And during the time that we're together in the 5K Blitz, the live version, we're going to have a live Zoom call every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific, where I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. This is for the first live version only. After that, if I do a live version, I probably won't deliver it live. You'll watch it, and then we'll do a live call. But we'll have a live call every Monday, and then we will have a Slack channel that you're in to get support throughout the week. And then the second week, we're going to have this extra level of support. We're going to have a Zoom call where we're going to have a pitch blitz. So what we're going to do in the pitch blitz is, remember how I told you that during that week, you need to pitch 20 people and you're all going to avoid it? Well, that's why we're going to get on a call together, and we're all going to do it together at the same time. This is we're going to leverage the power of everyone taking action together. And we're going to do this over the 30 days together. Okay. So if you want more details about the 5K Blitz, a link is, in the show notes. If you're on the podcast episode, in the description, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, or on the blog post, if you're on the blog for this, make sure to go sign up for that. And I hope I get to work with you and help you to get this cash injection for your business. Let's breathe that life back into your cash flow so that you can move on from this problem and start building your client booking machine.